Here's how Pearl can absolutely dominate the electronic drum industry. That's coming up. What's up? Justin Greenwald here. Welcome to 65 Drums. This is the place to keep on top of all things electronic drum related, so thanks for stopping by. Today I'm talking about how Pearl can absolutely take over the electronic drum space. I don't own a drum company, but these are just very simple ideas that have been used time and time again by other companies that I feel like if Pearl would just implement them, they would really start selling tons and tons of drum sets. Believe it or not, there are some music stores out there that sell more electronic drum sets than they do acoustic sets. More and more people will start playing electronic drum sets. It's like a shift that's starting to happen a little bit. Acoustic drum sets are never going away, but it's always a good idea to lean in heavy in whatever direction the market is going. Here's what Pearl has on the market right now. They have this pad package with a drum module, the Pearl ePro Live drum set, where basically these are pads you put on your acoustic drum set, turns it into an electronic drum set. They also sell the Pearl ePro Live powered by Export thing, where it's basically a Pearl Export drum set with the pad package. They also sell the Pearl ePro Live thing with the Mimic Pro drum module. And I don't know if these are just bundles websites are doing, but basically it's the Pearl ePro Live pads and the Mimic Pro drum module. The Mimic Pro drum module is their brand new flagship drum module that's basically a Roland TD50 killer. It has better sounds than the Roland TD50. It's slightly less expensive as well, and it has third-party support. So you can plug in Yamaha pads, you can plug in Alesis pads, you can plug in Roland pads. It's universal like that, and I think that's absolutely sweet. So it's kind of weird how Pearl's just sitting on this incredible drum module and not really building it into a complete lineup of electronic drum sets. So that's what this video is all about. I'm going to talk about like an idea I have for their flagship, mid-range, and lower-priced electronic drum set line that doesn't exist right now, but I wish this existed. So the first thing I would do is forget about those Pearl ePro Live pads. Like, they're cool, I've played them before, but they're nothing earth-shattering. It's not like a premium feel, honestly. And if they want to have a flagship drum set, I feel like they should start using mesh drum pads. Honestly, everyone's using mesh drum pads now because the patent has finally been unlocked. You even have like Simmons making a completely mesh $400 electronic drum set. So honestly, this technology isn't that expensive. You just got to make sure you're developing the piezo and the foam. Like, make sure you're using nice components and nice mesh drum heads. It's not really that expensive, and now that the patent thing is finally taken care of, everyone should start using it, except for maybe Yamaha because they already have a nice playing surface with the DTX silicone pads. Anyway, with their flagship, this is what I'm thinking. Pearl right now, they're selling this drum set called the Pearl Roadshow. This 5-set complete drum set has cymbals, it's got the stands, it's selling for about $529. You know what that means. It probably costs them about $250, maybe $300 to actually manufacture this thing. So they've got these drum shells, put on mesh drum heads, put on triggers, develop some rubber cymbals that aren't made by Medelli, because everyone wants to run out and go outsource the rubber cymbals from this company called Medelli. They make the cymbals for a lot of Alesis drum sets, Capercussion drum sets. The Pearl ePro Live cymbals are made by Medelli. Millennium cymbals are Medelli, but they break. They're not that awesome. That's why Pearl has to develop their own line and stop relying on outsourcing cymbals. And now you pair that with your Mimic Pro drum module. The Mimic Pro drum module probably only costs them like $800 to manufacture. They're selling it for $2,200 for some reason. That's way overpriced, but they can do that because the TD50 drum module is selling for like $2,400. So they just slightly undercut Roland and have a better sounding drum module. We don't know if the latency is better in the Pearl module. We don't know much about like reliability and durability. Honestly, it has a touchscreen, so that means it can't be as durable as the Roland drum module unless it's using some sort of high-tech new Gorilla Glass or something. So we don't know if it's like as well designed as a Roland drum module, but the fact that it sounds better because it's running Stephen Slate Drums 5, the samples in it are absolutely incredible, and the fact that it has third-party support for different pads by all different manufacturers. So they've got this incredible drum module. If they pair it with a nice acoustic-sized set of shells, mesh drum heads, trigger units, they've got a Roland TD50 KV killer. But if they put this all together for like $2,500, maybe $3,000, this thing would sell like crazy. Because like I said, they can make this drum module probably for only $800 because it's just the internals of a laptop with a touchscreen and some inputs on the back of it. That can't be incredibly expensive to make. So they can probably make it for $800. They've got a drum set that only cost them maybe 300 bucks for the shells if they're selling it already with drum heads and some cheap cymbals and stands for 530 bucks. So they've got a $300 drum set, $800 drum module, and then whatever a couple of rubber cymbals and some mesh heads and stuff cost. You know, they could make this entire drum set for maybe 1,200 bucks, maybe $1,500, and then sell it for $3,000, $3,500. That would be incredible. There are going to be tons of people that would buy this drum set if this actually came out. Let's move down to their mid-tier drum set. This could also be a Pearl Roadshow drum set. Basically, it would just have maybe one less floor tom. Maybe it would only have one crash cymbal, one ride cymbal, one set of hi-hats. And then here's the important thing, they would have to dumb down the Mimic Pro drum module a little bit to make it cheaper to manufacture. So the touchscreen may be a little bit smaller, less inputs for extra pads, and then, yeah, that's basically it. Maybe remove some of the editing features within inside the drum module, dumb it down a little bit, just so there's a reason to upgrade to the, you know, the full version of the drum module. So you have this drum module, it's cheaper to manufacture, there's less going on inside of it. So you can make this drum module, maybe have it compete with the TD25 drum module. Make it cost 800 bucks, maybe $1,000. Pair it with these cheap drum shells, you have less cymbals and stuff. You can sell this entire drum set for about $1,500, maybe even $1,700, so it's competing directly against the Elisa Strike. I feel like that would be incredible, and it would sell a ton of drum sets. Now let's go one further down in price. Let's say $800. So you're competing against something like the Roland TD11K and against the Yamaha DTX 522K, which I believe is the best drum set for 800 bucks right now. What I wish was an option would be this new Pearl drum set. So in this case, I would still use the Pearl Roadshow shells, but I would just make the shells smaller. So they're selling an option right here for 350 bucks. That's got an 18-inch kick drum, it's got a 14-inch floor tom, it's got a 13-inch snare, and a 10-inch high tom. If they're selling this for 350 bucks, that means it only costs them maybe $150 to make this thing. It's incredibly cheap, all right? So I would take this drum set, these shells, mesh heads, triggers, put maybe one ride cymbal, one crash cymbal, one set of hi-hats. What I would do for the drum module is just use the Pearl Redbox drum module. You know, they probably have piles and piles of these drum modules lying around. They're still selling them right now, standalone, for like something like $400 or $500 bucks. So if they use that with this drum set, sell the whole package for $800, a ton of people would be buying this, a ton of people. Because you have an 18-inch kick drum, you have a 13-inch snare, you got a 14-inch floor tom, 10-inch high tom. This is what a lot of people want for $800, and even if the sounds aren't like incredibly high quality, you can always upgrade the module later, or you can like pair this with, you know, a laptop and a VST. These are just ideas. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. But Pearl is so perfectly positioned right now. They already make acoustic drum shells. They can make them at very low prices, honestly, because they're making a complete drum set here for 350 bucks. So they can make electronic drums for very low prices, pair that with mesh heads, solid trigger units inside, rubber cymbals, and they already have the best drum module on earth right now. They can just dumb it down. So there is the Pearl Mimic and the Mimic Pro. The Mimic just has less inputs, less sounds inside of it. Very, very simple. Sort of like the TD25 has some of the same sounds the Roland TD30 has, but it has less inputs and less sounds in it. It's just like a dumbed down version of the TD30. The thing I want to know though is if Pearl came out with a brand new line of electronic drum sets tomorrow, what would you want that line to look like? Do you disagree with everything I said in this video? Do you want them to go in a completely different direction than what I want them to go in? Or do you agree with most of what I said, except for a handful of things here and there, some tweaks to this whole idea I have in my mind? Let me know down in the comments below. This is just, you know, fun, just thinking of what might happen. Anyway, hope you guys have an awesome day. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. See you later.